Well, at least I'm getting 3 episodes done today. So, yeah. I had a feeling that this one would be, uh, in one, but just to kind of show you, I'm going to show you here. Here, from there, down. So, yeah, I don't got that many notes today on this one. I know I probably don't need to be showing them my notes every single time, but I just want to keep emphasizing that point that I made last time of multiple episodes being done in one of mine, because, I mean, this is a prime example of this. I have like a page of notes for 2 episodes. Yeah, especially to try and explain that a little bit. What I basically mean is 2 episodes that I feel could have been condensed into one, because, and I'll talk about this right here because, it's literally my only note. Well, actually, no, I'm wrong. I was gonna say it was my only note for the one episode, but it's my first note of the dub notes for part 2. But I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. The cavern exploration scenes, are a waste of goddamn time. A lot of this episode felt like it was, I don't want to say spinning its wheels so much as wasting its time. Which, I mean, some people could say that that's anime in a nutshell, but well, I guess that's not an accurate statement. It's just, I would rather it, I'd rather, not sit here and discuss nothing, because that is something that sometimes happens. Sometimes anime episodes will just have nothing to really say about it. Like, for example, if I was to do this format for My Hero Academia, I'd be like, I'd get to the recap episodes, and then I'd be sitting there going, what the hell do I even say about this, right? Because, well, what the hell would I have to say? So now we're introduced to Bandit Keith. Oh, by the way, I had almost nothing to really say. I basically had to cheat with my sub notes because so many of the things I have to talk about are universal across both because they have to do with the duel. I have nothing to say about Bandit Keith or his minions, really. I mean, we were introduced, we had Bandit Keith get the mention in the flashback, in the last episode, and then here he is actually doing stuff in this episode. I all I can say is shrug, you know. So part 1 starts with Joey having a nightmare. Well, for the sake of argument, we will call this the loser dog nightmare. Okay, I'm going to say something that's probably going to be I don't want to say controversial, but probably going to be an unpopular opinion. The wandering around the caves and this loser dog motivation are both a fucking waste of time. Like, I'm not even joking. I actually kind of was sitting here like kind of struggling to keep my eyes open, especially during part 1, because it's just like there's nothing here. It's basically the same episode. It's just there's some dialogue differences, and the dialogue differences are moot at best. I mean, I guess I could talk about how, Clown Zombie's knives are censored, censored in the dub, but there's nothing to say there. They just made them daggers of light instead of normal daggers. Like, what the fuck do I say about that? You know? So then Joey goes wandering off. Apparently, he needed to take a leak in the frickin' sub. Whatever. So then Bandit Keith shows one of his underlings, who I will call Bones, because, I mean, I guess I could call him Katsuhara or whatever the hell his Japanese name is. But, question, do you even remember this skull-faced twat? Or the goons, the other of Bandit Keith's goons? Because I tend to forget he exists most of the time. I mean, granted, the only reason I remember him is because this is the one time Shield and Sword is actually super useful, and it's the one time Time Wizard fails. And for a particular moment in Season 2, but I don't want to spoil that one. So then Bandit Keith has a whole bunch of spare cards to help boost Bones' deck. And then they drag Joey to the graveyard field, which powers up zombies. It's an interesting idea. Zombies wouldn't exactly get a field to themselves. They'd have to share it with dinosaurs, actually. Dinosaurs and rocks, because of the wasteland. Yeah, they wouldn't really get a field until... Shit, I don't actually know. I want to say it's Vampire Kingdom, but that doesn't sound right. I'd have to look that up, but suffice it to say, yeah. By the way, I looked up like none of the cards in this duel because I know what they do in the real card game, and and that's nothing like in this one, really. Speaking of that, Call of the Haunted. See, Bones starts off the duel by having Bandit Keith tell him to play non-zombie cards. Okay, question, Bones, since he keeps saying, "Oh, this is a zombie, this is a zombie, this is a zombie," and he's keep acting like he's surprised at the cards, and it's like, did you not check the deck immediately after Keith set it up? I mean, there's faith in your boss, and then there's blind loyalty. And this is that. The only difference between this and, say, blind faith is most times blind faith is actually rewarded, but I digress. So anyway, it's a Zanky, Crawling Dragon, and Crass Clown, which then, after Call of the Haunted is played, which in the real card game is a continuous trap that acts as a monster reborn / premature burial. But in season 1, it's cheap AF because it resurrects monsters as zombies, makes them immortal, and powers them up every time they get destroyed. Unless you shrink their attack power to 0. Okay then. By the way, I play Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories, and yes, Dragon Zombie, specifically Dragon Zombie, actually was kind of useful of the 3 that get introduced here. Armored Zombie, Dragon Zombie, and Clown Zombie. So, yeah. The only other note I have left, believe it or not, of all of Part 1 is the idea of zombies. The zombie type. I had a. I, this has nothing to do with the episode, by the way, so forgive me. But I played Yu-Gi-Oh in high school. I think I've mentioned that before. We had a friend of mine who I won't name names just on the off chance, but it he played zombie cards, and I have to admit, fighting those zombies were actually kind of fun. These zombies are just cheap. This zombie strategy is just cheap nonsense, but I kind of liked the idea of the zombies just never being gone. You get rid of one, and somewhere down the line, they would have to show up again. And then there's different ones that actually we faced and had nicknames for. Like, for example, Despair from the Dark was Danny Boy, and, well, different cards had different nicknames, names, and jokes associated with it. Which is funny because there was actually one Neo the Magic Swordsman who they always had to make the joke every time it got defeated because for those not know, it's a vanilla level 4 spellcaster with 1700 attack. So you can imagine it kind of got defeated a lot. And the joke that was always had to be made every time it got defeated was, I guess he wasn't the one. If you don't know what that was a reference to, I envy you. So, on to part two. I've already mentioned that the cavern exploration is uh com- is a complete waste of my goddamn time. I've already talked about saying fuck the loser dog motivation, and I've already mentioned the zero attack, meaning no resurrection. So, now that I've gone through literally half of my part two notes, if it's not obvious, I'm just making it clear I have nothing to really say about this episode, about this two-parter. So then Tristan goes and punches a boulder after it flattens Bakura, and this is where we get the joke from the abridged series, my voice gives me super strength. Pops the balloon. Holy shit, it does! uh, Cue the Yusei doing the Shoryuken thing that I've already mentioned. A meme that I've already mentioned. I just wanted to mention that because, well, I needed something, okay? So then Joey tries to use Time Wizard to bail him out of this, and it fails for the first time. The only time it fails, again, not counting his opponent's interfering. So then Bones, at Bandit Keith's prompting, pulls out Pumpkin, the King of Ghosts, which powers up the zombies with its ectoplasmic fortification. Which then Red Eyes, like 4 turns too late, blasts it. To stop that, and then Shield and Sword is used to destroy it. To destroy the monsters, deal 1,000 points, and we're done. And with that. So the only thing I have left to talk about is Bandit Keith being a card pro. I don't even need my notes because I'm done. Like I said, I'm done at this point. This is going to be a short one, I can already tell. But Bandit Keith being a card pro, I like the idea that there are other card games that exist in the Yu-Gi-Oh world outside of Duel Monsters. I do. Maybe not, the same ones we have here in real life, but like variations, like some version of Magic the Gathering, which was what inspired the actual Duel Monsters game in the manga originally. It's just kind of a neat concept. I mean, there's trading card games for like everything. There's original ones like like Magic the Gathering, and then there's ones based on different franchises. They're usually called collectible card games. Yu-Gi-Oh has its own little thing. Pokemon has its thing, which is based around around its franchise. And then you have other ones that you wouldn't expect to be in a card game. I mean, there's a Dragon Ball Z card game. There's a Naruto card game, or I should say was past tense because I don't know if they're around now. But yeah, there was a there was a Naruto game. There was a Dragon Ball Z card game. Um, I'm drawing a blank on any others, but yeah, there are plenty of card games other than Yu-Gi-Oh and Magic the Gathering out there. And I wouldn't mind actually, trying some of those out, but it's just at this point it's like I'm not sure I would actually care all that much. I think I'll just stick to the video game equivalents. I mean, it's not like Magic the Gathering has inspired other card, card games in video games that have inspired other card games in other video games. Specifically, Hearthstone coming to mind immediately. I mean, I'm currently playing through The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 3, and there's a mini game in there called Vantage Masters, aka Hearthstone, Please Don't Sue Us Blizzard Edition. I mean, I'm being facetious, but no, seriously, it might as well be Hearthstone for all the difference it makes. There's literally an attack value, a health value, your you know your main unit has that. You gain mana every turn. You draw a card every turn. It's it's freaking Hearthstone. But I guess since that's not the main focus of the game and not the selling point of Cold Steel 3, Blizzard isn't going to go sue them, which is good because of certain things that I don't want to get into. But anyways, I'm rambling at this point because, guys, I have nothing. I literally have absolutely nothing here. I seriously feel like I'm chipping you guys. Like, I haven't even hit the 18-minute mark yet. Oh, my God. I... Okay. Live, I am going to look something up, so forgive me for the glare that you are about to see. Because I need to check something out. This one. Oh, I talked a long time for that one. What about you? Okay, so yeah, this is gonna be like with Weevil. Evil, because I only spoke for like 21 minutes with Weevil. I have the file saved. That's why I can set that up. But yeah, no, I don't have anything for this one, guys. There's no real... Bones doesn't get any characterization, not really. His fellow flunkies get no characterization whatsoever, and after this two-parter, they're not going to amount to anything except for a cameo, or what might as well be a cameo, in Season 2. A stepping stone for a much better villain, spoiler alert. I got nothing, guys. I'm gonna chop this off because I'm done. I have nothing more to talk about, so I'm not gonna pad this out any further. Which is gonna be interesting because the next one we're covering is a three-parter. Our very first, well, okay, according to the dub, the first official three-parter. But let's face it, it's the second three-parter of the entire series, because Ghost Kaiba effectively was a three-parter, although, Ghost Kaiba didn't even show up until literally the cliffhanger of part 1, so shrug. But I am going to chop this off. because, like I said, I'm rambling at this point. I hope you've enjoyed my thoughts on this okay episode, and I'll see you guys next time. Well, sorry, Duel standby.